if you guys are looking for a home, right? This is the time. This is when people are switching schools. This is when people say, okay, I'm going to go find a house. I'm going to close in the house. My child's going to go to this new school district.
Yeah,
right?
In September.
This is what housing season's all about.
আপনি যখন জানুয়ারিতে ট্যাক্স ফাইল করবেন, you must have in your head that I am buying a property this year. My tax file should be really according to that situation.
Is inventory higher than it's ever been in the last 3 months? Yes, it has been. But is it astronomical? No.
What are those things that you would like to share for those prospective buyers in terms of paperwork? That could be tax papers. That could be, having good credit rates, consistent banking info.
When you guys decide, hey, I want to buy a house, the time to think about is January, February, and put your tax file on extension.
When summer comes, people start looking at houses.
Correct.
Especially if you're a first-time buyer, you're looking for a deal, you're looking for your first house, you're going to move in with your family. So overall, give me a perspective of your perspective of what's happening. What is going to happen in this summer, especially? We have been having this tight market.
We have been having a tight market, but what everyone's been hearing on the news, that's not New York, right? That is the rest of the states, right? That all the prices went through the roof, right? Like Texas, all these places, right? That's not what's happening in New York specifically. And when I say New York, I mean like Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx.
Right. Meaning the price changes that you are seeing that, the price is dropping.
Right. Look, if you look at the last 3 months, right? Is inventory higher than it's ever been in the last 3 months? Yes, it has been. But is it astronomical? No.
And also,
it's maybe 10% more than what it was in the last 3 months.
Also, is it in New York City? No. The chances are the numbers are slightly higher.
They're slightly higher in Queens,
right.
Brooklyn. There is slightly higher.
Compared to the rest of the country.
No. There are just as much buyers as there are sellers in the market.
Right.
I mean, we closed, like 6-7 deals in the last 2 months, but that's, again, it's the same thing. Things are not.
That's a norm.
That's norm. It's not slowing down.
So nothing drastic.
No, and if you look at the price changes, you're talking about like 2% difference.
Right. So the prospective buyers, your advice for them?
Look, this is, again, if you guys are looking for a home, right? This is the time. This is when people are switching schools. This is when people say, okay, I'm going to go find a house. I'm going to close in the house. My child's going to go to this new school district.
Yeah,
right?
In September.
This is what housing season's all about. What's the bad news? You have a lot more competition, right? So really the summer months, you really shouldn't look at too hard where the market's going, because it's always twisted.
Okay, so again, keep an eye on a property that if you like something.
Correct. Is this the time where you can say, okay, you can't go and say, okay, I'm going to bid 100,000 less. No. But do I think it's going to go way above market? No. Those days are behind us at least.
Right. So the astronomical pricing going through the roof is not there now, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing, because right now, look, what's going on, going back to your next question, was going to be the mortgage rates. Everything's staying like this,
okay,
right? I'm
going to come back to mortgage rate, because I think I need to hear a little bit detail on this one. Since we're talking about prospective buyers, and since we're talking about, this summertime and, people are going to buy, what are those things that you would like to share for those prospective buyers in terms of paperwork? That could be tax papers. That could be, having good credit rates, consistent banking info, and all these things, having a good accountant, having a good real estate. So let's start with the good paperwork.
So look, the paperwork's always the most important part of getting a mortgage. We all know that, right? But the thing is, now you're buying in the summer. So this whole entire tax season, hopefully either you're on extension or you've met with a good CPA and a good mortgage person that's going to say, okay, you are on the right track. What I hate seeing is people come all the time to our office, new clients, and they say, oh, can I buy a house? Well, we should have known about this in January and February. Right? So now, whatever is going on in that person's financial position, it's kind of hard to maneuver, right?
Yeah, because you're in a tight spot.
I'm in a tight spot. I'm like, okay, you already filed your taxes. What am I supposed to do here? Well, if I knew in January that you guys were looking for a house, right, then I can make those moves. I can put you in a much better position.
Why is amendment is not a good thing? You explained
so they don't like it. Look.
Who's they?
Fannie, Freddie.
Oh, the mortgage companies.
They don't like
lenders.
to see it. They say, okay, if you're adding income, right, sometimes they're okay with it, right? But you can't be removing expenses.
Yeah, okay. So that's not an answer.
That's why when you guys are deciding, hey, I want to buy a house, the time to think about is January, February, and put your tax file on extension.
Okay, so I think I'm going to clarify a few things here. So what he is saying basically, যেটা উনি বলছেন যে আপনার যদি বাড়ি কেনার ইচ্ছা থাকে আপনি মার্চে এসে বলতে পারেন না বা in April or May, oh, I'm looking for a house. By that time আপনি already tax file করে ফেলেছেন। আপনি কি amend করতে পারেন? Yes, but mortgage lenders তারা এটি পছন্দ করে, they don't like it. The idea should be very clear. Buying a house is not buying a shoe, right? So আপনার planning থাকতে হবে. You have to have a plan. That means আপনি যখন জানুয়ারিতে tax file করবেন, you must have in your head that I am buying a property this year. My tax file should be really according to that situation, correct?
That's correct, because you also don't want to be giving the IRS more money than they have to be if you find a cheaper house.
Yeah.
So that's why the extension is always the best.
নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে সম্প্রচারিত TVN 24 টেলিভিশন বিশ্বজুড়ে বাঙালির কণ্ঠস্বর।